Hi friends, we are all involved in the music ministry at Mills River United Methodist Church in Mills River, North Carolina. This time we share with you on Sunday evenings was born out of our desire to be together, to worship God, to enjoy fellowship and good music. We have missed these things so much ever since the appearance of the coronavirus to our community and to our world. Please take note of how carefully we've placed ourselves so that we honor the social distancing guidelines set forth. So here we are, ready and willing and excited to worship God. We welcome you to join us and invite you to comment on our Facebook page with any song requests you might have. We're so excited to participate in some hymns, praise choruses, Southern gospel, and a cappella singing. Along the way, we'll also enjoy sharing stories behind the songs, how a hymn was written, what its influence were, etc. We hope this becomes a sacred and enjoyable time for all of us to gather on Sunday evenings. And one more thing, please say hello in the comment section tonight, so let us know you're here with us. And if you feel comfortable doing so, let us know where you're from. And a special thanks tonight to Mike and Cammie Keeter for sharing their home with us and with you for our worship tonight.
Thank you, Dean. So we're going to begin with a song, All Things Bright and Beautiful. And if you have a hymnal at home in the United Methodist hymnal, it is on page 147. And we're going to sing verses 1, 2, and 4. So I know my buddies up in Virginia are watching and listening, and I know you both sing, so I want to hear you. All right. Devotion that I pasted inside one of my Bibles, something Max Lucado said, and it really jumped out at me as I was reading it this morning and just thinking about the noise of the world of late. And in that devotion, he reminds us to breathe. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I forget to do that. And I am so guilty of being busy trying to do for God rather than being with God. And it just hit me between the eyes as I read it this morning. And I'd like to share what he says about that. There was one instruction in music I could never obey to my teacher's satisfaction. It was the rest. The zigzagged command to do nothing. I mean, what sense does that make? Why sit at the piano and pause when you can pound? And my music teacher explained it this way. Because music is always sweeter after a rest. And I think that's true for us in our faith journey too. If we shut out the noise and pause and listen. And that's kind of what I wanted us to be about tonight, was just enjoying sharing God's word through message and song, enjoying being together, taking a pause. It's okay to do that every so often. Yeah. So why don't we look at number 170, Oh How I Love Jesus.
That went to the family in the far reaches, you know, the hollers and the hills and the mountains. They were quite poor. He asked the mother, how many dependents did she have? She began, well, there's Rosalie and Billy and Uella and our dog Willie. And the census taker interrupted her and said, no, ma'am, that's not necessary. I just need numbers. She said, well, there's Rosalie and Billy and Luella, just the humans, you know. Exasperated, the census taker interrupted her again and said, no, ma'am, you don't seem to understand. I don't need their names. I just need numbers. And the mother replied, I don't know them by numbers, sir. I only know them by names.
I asked Tammy.
I've been called worse things.
I asked Cammy to share that story because, you know, there's been a lot of names that I've heard in the past few weeks some that people have aspired to, and some that they have said, don't call me that. One of my favorite Psalms is Psalm 139, and verse 14 says, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Something that has been my passion my entire life that I've been in ministry is to let people know how beautiful they are, what wonderful creations of God. And in thinking about that, there is one name that no one can ever take from us, and that's child of God. And I say that because of the names that we hear, we can hold our head high and know I am God's beloved. I am a precious child of God. I am God's beloved. I am a precious child of God. Can you say that with me? I am God's beloved. I am God's precious child. I changed the wording around, I know, just go with me. But the point is we have that name that no one can take away from us. So don't ever let anyone try. You hear me? Don't ever let anyone try. Because that's a name that we hold to, we cling to. And we know that God claims us no matter what. No matter what it looks like on any given day, no matter how we behave, God says, that is my beloved. I am God's beloved, precious child of God. Something to always remember.
So our next hymn was written by somebody who wrote so many hymns over the years, back in the 1800s and early 1900s, and that was Fanny J. Crosby, who lived from 1820 to 1915. Frances Jane Crosby, perhaps more than any other writer, truly captured the spirit of the American gospel song movement. As one author has written, gospel hymnody has the distinction of being America's most typical contribution to Christian song. Gospel hymnody has been a plow digging up hardened surfaces of pavemented minds. Its very obviousness has been its strength. It is the music of the people. It is estimated that Fanny Crosby wrote more than 8,000 gospel song texts in her lifetime. Her hymns have been and are still being sung more frequently than those of any other gospel hymn writer. It is truly amazing that anyone, especially a blind person, could write on this variety of spiritual truths and experiences with such proliferation. For a considerable period during her life, while under contract to a music publisher, she wrote 3 new hymns each week. She used over 200 pen names besides her own. Many of her original texts are still being uncovered and no doubt will be published in the near future. Often, the theme for her hymns were suggested by visiting ministers wishing to have a new song on a particular subject. At other times, musician friends would first compose the music and then ask Fanny Crosby for the words. Such was the case for the hymn, Blessed Assurance. The music for the hymn was composed by Mrs. Joseph Knapp, an amateur musician, wife of the founder of the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, and a close personal friend of Fanny Crosby. One day, Mrs. Knapp played this melody for the blind poetess and asked, "What does this tune say?" Fanny responded immediately, "Why, that says Blessed Assurance, Jesus is mine."
Isn't that amazing? Just incredible. And Sue, if you're watching, that was a good choice. Thank you for sending that request in. So that's in page 369 in your hymnals, Blessed Assurance, and we're going to sing all 3 verses.
Jesus is mine. my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Perfect submission, all is at rest. I in my Savior am happy and blessed. Watching and waiting, looking above, filled with His goodness, lost in His love. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long.
Well, this one isn't in a hymnal. This is one of the praise songs that we love singing. So we're going to enjoy that now. Everlasting God. If you know it, sing along. If not, I bet you can find the lyrics somewhere on the internet.
Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. Wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. Wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. Our God, You reign forever. Our hope, our strong deliverer. You are the everlasting God, the everlasting God. You do not faint, You won't grow weary. You're the defender of the weak. You comfort those in need. You lift us up on wings like eagles. Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. Wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. Wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. Our God, You reign forever. Our hope, our strong deliverer. You are the everlasting God, the everlasting God. You do not faint, You won't grow weary. You're the defender of the weak. You comfort those in need. You lift us up on wings like eagles. wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord, we will wait upon the Lord. He will rise as we wait, everlasting God, the everlasting God. He will rise as we wait, from everlasting to everlasting, God, you are everlasting.
I love that song. Oh, I just like it. It's okay. You Are My All in All goes back, good song to sing, and a good one as we are continuing to celebrate the God who claims us, who calls us by name, who never grows weary, who is with us in all things. And I love it when we sing songs that are praising and worshiping God rather than, oh God, I need this, poor me. You know, those songs are important. We need to do them. But it's nice to just lay them out and singing praise. So let's do that one. You Are My All in All.
Worthy
for this next hymn first appeared in the February 1862 issue of the Atlantic Monthly magazine and were published as the Civil War Battle Song of the Republic. The author, Julia Ward Howe, received the grand total of $5 for her literary efforts. Mrs. Howe and her doctor husband had recently moved from Boston to Washington, D.C., where he was involved in medical service for the governor. Julia became deeply anguished as she noted the growing angry mood of the nation and its frenzied preparations for the tragic war between the northern and southern states. Day after day, Ms. Howe watched the troops go as they marched off to war and heard them singing the strains of John Brown's Body, named for a self-styled abolitionist who was hanged for his efforts to have the slaves freed. One day, while witnessing a parade of soldiers singing this catchy tune, a visiting friend and her former pastor, the Reverend James Freeman Clark of Boston, turned to Miss Howe and said, "Why don't you write some decent words for that tune?" "I will," answered Miss Howe. After that, Miss Howe became even more involved in her humanitarian pursuits. She was especially vehement in her opposition to slavery. It is recorded that this hymn was sung at a large patriotic rally attended by President Lincoln. After the singer had finished, the audience responded with tumultuous applause. The president, with tears in his eyes, cried out, "Sing it again!" And it was sung again. It soon became accepted as one of our finest national hymns.
So that's the Battle Hymn of the Republic. And we're going to sing verses 1 and 4, right? That's right. Verses 1 and 4. And if you have your United Methodist hymnal, it's page 717. How about one other? America the Beautiful, number 696. I think we said we're going to sing no, verse 1 and 3. Thank you. 696, verse 1 and 3.
Majesties, above the
God mend thine every flaw. That's powerful. Goodness gracious. Hey, there was this pastor who told the story of an enthusiastic woman who he had in his church. She was just so excited about becoming a church member, but more importantly, about becoming a Christian. And she gradually started getting involved in the life of the church because the church reached out to her in love and welcome. You see, I guess the best way to say it is that this woman had a storied past. How's that? Okay, so they could easily have frowned on her and judged her, right? Given her a name other than the name we should claim. But they didn't. They welcomed her instead, and they loved her. And so she started going to church regularly. She got involved in Bible study. She read her Bible every day. And she asked God's forgiveness for, as she said, the way that she had been so horrible and messed up her life. Well, I don't know about you, but I could pray that prayer as well. Been so horrible and messed up my life. We all can. But see, God forgave her and accepted her. And so the day came when she was going to officially join the church and be welcomed into the life of the church family. And the pastor said that she came up to him, and she said, "Pastor, I'm sorry. I'm just so excited about being a Christian that I'm all full of the can't help it's." I would like to be so excited about being a Christian, I'd be full of the can't help it's myself. Yeah. Hey, we're gonna close, and if you've been with us, we thank you for being with us. This has just been some informal time to sing and enjoy being together and singing and sharing the word. You never know where we're going to be next. We never know where we're going to be next. We're so grateful to our pastor, Rennie Salata, and to our music director, Chili, as they both have been so supportive of us and getting to do this. And we're grateful to Sawyer, who follows us around and films for us, and different faces that you're going to see being involved. But it is just our love of music, our love of God, our love of each other that has brought us together in this. And we hope that you will continue. We know that we'll be on at 7 o'clock on Wednesday nights. Other than that,
Sunday.
what'd I say?
Wednesday.
Don't listen to a thing I say.
Sunday.
I'm glad you were listening. The one thing that they know is that we'll be on 7 o'clock on Sunday nights. And where we'll be, we don't know. How long it'll last, we don't know. Sometimes we'll have a more formal setting. Sometimes we'll have a less formal, like tonight. Whatever the case, we hope you will join us. And we do hope that you will get your requests in. Sue, thank you so much for writing to me this week about Blessed Assurance. And I have, we're looking into the other request you made, and hopefully we can learn that and share that with you in a few weeks. So we're going to close with Shalom to you. But before we do, I just want to make sure that I remind myself and remind you that Shalom means so many things. It means hello. It means goodbye. It also means peace. Peace be with you. And I think in the context of this song that we're singing, I think we can pretty much bet on peace, don't you? So we wish you shalom. We wish you peace. If you'd like to sing along with us, it's on page 666 in the hymnal. Shalom to you.
My friend. Christ be your shalom.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight. As you go into this week, our prayer for each of us and for you is that we can be filled to overflowing with God's love. So much so that we are afflicted, not with coronavirus, but a case of can't help it. So that our faith-filled life is evident and contagious. That's a pandemic we could use these days.
Mm-hmm.
Our prayer for each of us this week,
that we may remember who we are and whose we are.
You are God's beloved, precious child of God.
No one can take that name from you.
may you know God's love, feel Christ's peace, and be empowered by the Holy Spirit. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.